The floor she refused to kneel on, the insult echoed like a gunshot in the middle of the bustling airport terminal. He's not even good enough to mop these floors. The voice was loud, arrogant, and deliberately cruel. It cut through the ambient noise of rolling luggage and murmured conversations, drawing the attention of dozens of travelers. Phones lifted reflexively. Some passengers gasped, others chuckled nervously. In the center of it all stood a dark-skinned woman in a navy blazer and slacks. Her name was Diane Mord. A crumpled dollar bill lay at her feet. Thrown, not offered. She didn't bend to pick it up. She didn't flinch. She stood there, unmoving, her expression unreadable, as though absorbing the shame into silence. Cameras recorded her refusal to yield, to perform the submission that had been demanded of her. What they didn't realize was that Diane wasn't there to serve them. Not in the way they thought. The day had begun like any other. Diane arrived at Atlanta International well before her shift, as she always did, slipping through security checkpoints with practiced efficiency. At 44, she carried herself with the quiet grace of someone who had endured long enough to no longer care about applause. Her presence was consistent, precise, and largely overlooked. That was how she preferred it. Gate 47 had become unusually busy that morning due to storm delays rerouting flights and agitating travelers. Diane handled it all smoothly, overseeing safety checks, updating manifests, and assisting passengers who stumbled through the chaos with screaming toddlers and tangled luggage. She had just helped a mother juggle a stroller and two kids through the scanner when Carter Marshall arrived. He was tall, white, and wore power like cologne. Expensive suit, crocodile shoes, a leather briefcase held by one of his assistants. He approached with a group of colleagues, laughing a little too loudly, radiating the practiced arrogance of corporate men who expected the world to move for them. Carter tossed his boarding pass at the counter without making eye contact. "Get us sorted," he said. Diane smiled politely. "Of course, sir." As she scanned the passes, another member of the group, a woman named Amanda Grayson, platinum blonde, perfectly made up, leaned toward her friend and said, just loudly enough to be heard, "At least they still keep people like her behind the desk instead of in the cockpit." Laughter bubbled around them. Diane didn't react. She couldn't afford to. She focused on helping the next guest, ignored Liam, the ground supervisor who muttered under his breath to another colleague. "She's always trying to play the saint." Flight 318 to Houston was now boarding. As Diane called the first group forward, Carter's team shoved past a family with children. He smirked as he passed her. "We have meetings. You understand, right?" "Yes, sir," Diane replied, still composed. Amanda accidentally spilled her $8 latte right in front of the boarding podium, then turned to Diane with a sneer. "Little help here?" Without a word, Diane knelt and wiped the spill. Amanda snapped a photo and whispered to her friends, perfect for one of those people of airports meme pages. No one stopped her. Diane stood, disposed of the towels, and carried on. The insults escalated. A businessman snapped at her. An elderly woman asked if she was the cleaner. A child pointed and asked his mom if Diane mopped the floors. Stones, one after another, dropping into her chest. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. "Your dignity is not up for negotiation." Amanda returned later, deliberately spilling a second coffee at Diane's feet. This time, she sneered openly. "Well, that floor's not going to clean itself. That's where you belong, isn't it?" Diane didn't reply. She bent down and cleaned the floor once again. Nearby, Liam watched, whispering. Honestly, she should have stayed in maintenance. Each word sliced clean. Diane stood straighter. Then Carter stormed to the counter and slammed his briefcase down. "Can we get someone appropriate for this area? This is premium boarding, not a community center." Amanda lifted her phone and began filming. "Smile, sweetheart," she cooed. "Say hi to TikTok. When they don't make the cut, they let them supervise gates." Diane's fingers tightened on her clipboard. She pressed a button on her headset. A silent alarm.mr. Reynolds, an older man, walked forward casually and in front of the crowd, dropped a crumpled dollar at Diane's feet. "Pick that up for me," sweetheart. Diane froze. Around her, silence stretched like a noose. No, sir, she said quietly. I'm not here to pick up your money. Gasps rippled through the crowd. That's the problem with you people, Reynolds said. No work ethic. A woman added, I think we should report her. She clearly doesn't respect paying customers. Diane said nothing. Ms. Jenkins, the senior gate supervisor, finally arrived. She took in the scene and walked toward Diane with her jaw set tight. Miss Moore, she snapped. You are here to serve. If you can't do that without drama, maybe you should find another line of work. A little boy in the crowd turned to his mother. Why are they yelling at her? She didn't do anything. His mother gave a painful smile. Not everyone is a good fit for nice places like this. Diane heard it all. You will write an incident report, Jenkins said. And if there's another complaint, you're suspended. Understood? Yes, ma'am. Diane answered evenly. Amanda lifted her phone again and laughed. Cleanup complete. Dignity check. Diane didn't react. She walked steadily toward the staff exit, the security checkpoint. She paused. From her blazer pocket, she removed a slim black device and scanned it against the reader. The airport speakers crackled to life. Level 2 security protocol has been initiated. All operations suspended pending safety verification. Confusion erupted. Miss Jenkins shouted orders. Amanda lowered her phone, suddenly unsure. Liam paled. Security agents moved through the terminal with military efficiency. Checkpoints locked. Passengers froze. In the chaos, Diane walked calmly. She passed through the staff corridor, her ID flashing as she reached the Central Operations Center. Inside, monitors showed every terminal, every checkpoint. The room went silent as the security chief, Officer Harris, spotted her and snapped a sharp salute. Director Moore, he said, we are at your full disposal. Gasps echoed from behind the glass walls. Amanda's phone slipped from her fingers. Diane returned the salute. Status report. As Harris detailed the lockdown procedures, Diane issued commands. Prepare incident briefings. Flag all personnel involved. Start disciplinary action immediately. Names scrolled across the screen. Carter Marshall, Amanda Grayson, Evelyn Jenkins, Liam Trent. Each was marked for investigation, badge deactivation, escorted removal. Security moved swiftly. Liam was stripped of his credentials. Amanda tried to sneak out, but was stopped. Jenkins was handed a printed suspension. Carter sat in a private room as agents informed him he was banned from flying domestically for 5 years. Amanda's viral video backfired. Her followers turned. Media outlets condemned her. Her employer terminated her contract. Public shame swallowed her image whole. Diane remained focused. No revenge, just justice. She initiated mandatory bias training across all departments. Every staff member would undergo retraining. Later, Jenkins and Liam appeared before the Ethics Review Board. Gone was their arrogance. I let bias cloud my judgment, Liam said. I'm sorry, Jenkins added. I failed to lead. I will do better. Their apologies were read aloud at a staff-wide assembly. Diane watched from the back. She didn't smile, but something inside her softened. A seed of change had finally sprouted. Weeks passed. Then, one morning, Diane walked through the terminal and saw Carter standing in the economy line. No suit, no entourage, just a man stripped of power. Their eyes met. He lowered his head, not in shame, but in respect. Diane gave a slight nod, not forgiveness. Understanding. She moved on, her steps firm. Her dignity, her strength, her authority, unshaken, because power doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes it wears navy slacks, carries a clipboard, and refuses to kneel. And Diane Moore had reminded them all of that, without ever raising her voice.